Good morning. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about my obsession with 1970s racing Yamahas. It's a bit of a niche subject, but I was inspired to do it after watching some fantastic New Zealand made videos on velosets. For somebody to have such passion about a mark that was made over here in the UK, to have such a passion that they wanted to make videos and speak highly of velos, truly inspired me. Now I don't pretend to be making quality such as the ones I watched, but this is my take on racing Yamahas. Round about the early 72, 73, 250 and 350cc racing motorcycles. Two-stroke, twin-cylinder, high revving, lightweight. These bikes could fly. What's that in the background I hear you say? With a spotlight on it? One of my latest acquisitions, a TD3, which was a 250 Yamaha of 1972 origin. A TD3 aluminium petrol tank. Not quite intact, but it does what I want it to do, and that is represent a racing Yamaha in my front room. I've coupled it with half a fairing from a friend down south who had it hung up in his workshop, and he wasn't too happy with some part of it. So I twisted his arm, bought it off him, and now it's in my living room. If I'm ever at a loose end, I just sit and look at it. How can I possibly get any satisfaction out of looking at just a few parts of a motorcycle? Well, maybe it takes me back to all of the bikes I've owned, including numerous Yamahas, 250s, 300s, 350s. Did I say 300? No. 250s, 350s, and a couple of 200s and 400s in there. They were all designed to look and sound and go like racing Yamahas. So maybe that's what I'm trying to recreate by the tank and fairing, just mounted in my living room. The price of full bikes is out of my league. I built a TD3 replica, and I know how much that cost. But can I say, in my defence, the whole of the TD3 replica amounts to the price of a front wheel from a genuine TD3 race bike of the 70s. Would I have a genuine wheel? Would I pay that sort of money? I don't think I'll ever have an opportunity, so that hardly ever comes up. With my hobbies stroke obsessions, I need to have them in the room in front of me so I can just turn and look at them. Now that's a tall order, and this tank and fairing are the latest version of that tall order. I keep promising myself that when the weather improves, I'll get the TD3 replica out of the garage and take it out for a photo shoot over the moors. I keep promising myself that, but it hasn't happened yet. When obsessing about this particular 1972 race Yamaha, I'm drawn to focus on a favourite deceased rider, Jarno Saarinen, the Flying Finn. Jarno Saarinen, the Flying Finn. I saw him many times at my local racetrack, Scarborough, in the northeast of England, as well as at the more famous tracks like Mallory, Cadwell. His style was very distinctive. He come from an ice racing background, and so a slide wasn't anything to be concerned about, where Jarno was racing. He had very low, steep, angled clip-on bars for his controls, In fact, my dad famously once said, why doesn't he just extend the front wheel spindle? That's how low he was. So it was shoulders down, knees out, elbows down, low steep clip-ons, hardly ever coming out from behind the bubble of the screen. This is the memory that's burnt into my obsession. This is the memory that I love to replay over and over. Jarno had teammates who were quite successful and always kept him on his game. He was up against riders like Phil Reed, Giacomo Agostini, in the lower, smaller classes of racing. The early 70s for Yamaha racing meant no silencers needed. Being a two-stroke, extremely loud race noises and quite a bit of smoke at startup. It always meant that the racing was exciting to watch and listen to. Over the years I've built replicas that never quite made the grade. They were okay and I might convince some people, but I'm a perfectionist when it comes to parts for a racing Yamaha, and I can spot a copy of a fairing or a pipe or a tank a mile off. It's not just the Yamahas that gets copied. Another race hero of mine, Mike Harewood, famous for his large bike racing and numerous world championships. I saw him in his latter days in the Isle of Man on modernish bikes. I'd love to have seen him in the 60s on his 6-cylinder 250. But that's a video for another day. Back to my obsession with 2 and 350 two-stroke Yams of the early 1970s. They were about 3 foot high, just under the wheelbase that people always aspire to. I've always used certain dimensions like wheelbase and fork angle to decide any design I've gone for. I can never quite get the paint finish that is, that makes a bike just that bit more nice to look at. But I've come to terms with that, and as long as it works and does the job, I can live happily with it. The replica, will it ever move under power? Probably not. I decided when I built this replica and any other in-house replica of a racing Yam, I would make it so that I couldn't possibly ride it. So I'm not tempted. And that's because, well, my health has decided not to let me go out on bikes anymore. So I'm listening to my health and just trying to enjoy race bikes in any way possible. This year should see me get out and about with my car, trailer and race rep to go to shows where I can sit alongside my bike and chew the fat that anybody stops for a talk. Well, that's the plan. How's this obsession manifested itself over the years? Well, I've had hobbies that come and go. I've had loads of projects. But I keep coming back to enjoying the looks, of one of the great loves of my biking past. Well, I may well call a halt to this. I've got it out of my system. Any other fellow Yamaha lovers, be interesting to think what you make of it. Thanks for watching. Join me again soon. Cheers.